Aloha and welcome to another episode of Truth in Movies, episode number 140, actually. We've covered at least 140 different movies, usually some of my own personal favorites, sometimes brand new movies, but this time, today, we're going to do something completely different. We're going to go back, way back, to the dawn of the movie industry, and we're going to check out some of the very first, if not the first, science fiction and horror movies ever created. And because we're going so far back, I don't have to take screenshots. I can actually just play the movie and watch it right along with all of you because it has no copyright on it any longer because it's been so long since the movie's been produced. You may have heard this about Mickey Mouse and Winnie the Pooh. You know, they no longer have their copyright claims on them. It's in the public domain, so we get to actually watch a couple of these movies. Now, the producer of these movies, most of the ones that we'll be watching, these are very short films, and they're silent era films too. So there's no audio. I can't get in trouble for the audio either. Sometimes people add audio to them, but this guy's name is Georges Méliès. He's French, and he's basically an unknown. There's not a whole lot of information on this guy, but his works were astounding. For the time that they were created, this was brilliant. You'll see some of the very first special effects ever, and I'm going to show you some of the earliest ones. What's up, everybody? Good to see you. I'm also going to put your comments up on the screen, like Kimberly F., who says, "Welcome, everyone, to the Good Vibe Tribe with your host, JayDreamerZ." Oh, that was very professional. Thanks, Kimberly. All right, cool. Well, it's good to see everybody. This is going to be sort of Mystery Science Theater 3000 mode tonight. We're all going to be in the front row watching the movie together, commenting as we go. I'll put your comments up on the screen as I see fit. Didn't Scorsese do a movie about this movie? I'm sure that they have. Actually, I'm going to share with you a couple of different knockoffs. They didn't really act too strongly upon copyright claims in the early 19th century or 20th century, or whenever it was, late 18th. So a couple people actually copied this movie, including Edison, Thomas Edison, which he made his own little copy of it. A couple other people made some knockoffs. We'll check those out too. But to begin with, we're going to start with the first horror movie ever made. One of the first ones, the first one I could find, the oldest horror movie ever made. It's very short. It's 1 minute long. And it's called Une Nuit Terrible. 1896, Une Nuit Terrible, A Terrible Night. And check this out. This movie, this particular film right here, this features a frightening horror scenario where this guy's about to go to sleep and these giant bugs start crawling into his bed. Let's check it out. Oh, I better mute the audio. All right, so he gets tucked in and you can see this is some of the first special effects ever. That gigantic bug starts crawling up into his bed onto the wall. So he goes over and he grabs his broom and he's going to start attacking this. Now, the truth in this is obviously giant bugs have existed throughout history, especially going back into antiquity. And it's prophetic in nature because gigantic bugs are going to return. Kimberly says Thomas Edison was a big old thief. I couldn't agree with you more, right? He just, especially the war he had against Tesla and all that stuff, man. And then he's over here knocking off movies, making the first bootlegs, some of the first bootlegs ever. All right, so this guy has these gigantic bugs. A terrible night. A terrible night. This is going to be the night of the apocalypse, or at least that's where it all begins. That was the first horror movie. Let's check out another one. If you're just joining us, we're building our way up to The Impossible Voyage because these movies are all really short. All right, another one by Georges Méliès. Georges Méliès. Typically, you wouldn't pronounce the S at the end, but in this case, you actually do. So this one's called La Voyage dans la Lune, which means a trip to the moon, a voyage to the moon, basically. So this is going to be really interesting, especially given all of the plasma apocalypse symbolism that we've talked about and an enclosed world that we live in and how, the whole moon symbolism and going to the moon. They've been talking about going to the moon for a very long time, right? Jules Verne, in his book in the 1800s, talked about going to the moon. All right, let's check this out. La Voyage dans la Lune. Are they giant bugs or just a tiny man? Maybe a little bit of both after the apocalypse. All right, cool. Let's continue. Bed bugs. Mr. Mission Control said it was bed bugs. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to gigantic bugs. Let's check this one out. A voyage to the moon. Let's check it out and see what happens. Or a trip to the moon, however you want to translate that. Now, this one's going to be really interesting. These are all my first time actually watching these. I've studied these. Hold on, let me pause this. I've studied these in part. These movies come up in my research now and then, but I've never actually sat down to watch it. So let's check it out together. First thing we see, there's some sort of academy, some sort of what looks like a wizard's keep or a wizard's tower with all of these intelligent men sitting there with a chalkboard with this diagram off to the side you can see here. And they have this huge telescope and they're staring at the moon up there in the top. You can see it, right? Now I want to point something out. This is the origin of the dunce cap. You know how you like have children that go sit in the corner and, well, they wouldn't do this these days because the world's changed a bit, right? But a long time ago, if a child was bad or specifically if they weren't doing well academically, they would put this cone-shaped hat on them. And over time, people forgot the origin of that. The origin is that the cone-shaped hat was worn by the intelligent. It was worn by the wise people of the world from, different nobles all throughout antiquity. People are used to seeing princesses with really long cones and a little ball and a little tassel coming off of it or whatever. To the modern, to like wizards, witches, you know what I mean? The Phrygian cap also is sort of a beanie style of this. And I think it's possible that it might relate to people that had cone heads, actually, and they wore them and they were intelligent, or a race of beings, I should say. Gina Groom's in the chat and says, I noticed many times they've done this with the Wizard of Oz. Yes. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I'm not a big fan of spiders at all, Mr. Mission Control. Okay, let's continue on. Yeah, Ryan H says the workers just know what their bosses tell them. Exactly, right? I feel like I'm way too short today. Let me sit up straight. Justin Thomas, what's up, dude? Gasper, good to see you. Yeah, NASA is compartmentalized. Exactly, right? My father worked at NASA, serving Jell-O at the cafeteria. All right, let's see. I mean, I made missiles and bombs and rockets and chaff and all kinds of stuff for the Marine Corps, but you don't hear me saying like, well, I was in the Marines, so therefore I know. I've never even used that. I hardly even tell people that I was in the Marine Corps or that I had secret access to, paperwork and stuff like that. Like, because I know the truth that I didn't really know anything. I was just a little worker bee, no matter what. Let's see. The 70s commercial. Yeah, it's all compartmentalized, right? All right, let's continue. So they're getting loaded up. They're getting ready to leave the world behind. Now, hold on. I want to comment on this, okay? This is what is happening. I'm saying that NASA's doomsday preppers, all right? They're not traveling the cosmos like Star Trek or any of that, all right? You can't. It's not possible. In this brain of mine that is an enclosed system under my dome, I have seen no evidence that people can go traverse the stars and go land on faraway places or whatever. If anything, I'd say though the evidence is pretty weighty against that. Just the simple going to the moon thing. The United States or other government, people who are chosen or whatever, haven't gone back to the moon after they said they did. They went for 3 years and then they were satisfied. That's it. These land grubbing, money grubbing, banking, take everything and make it mine people are just happy with just having landed on the moon, playing a round of golf, driving a car around, and then that's it. No Starbucks, no corporations, no selling tickets to the moon, building some houses, condos or something up there. That's garbage, man. What a bull crap load of crap. You know what I mean? Just that alone is enough for me. There's way more than that, but All right. There's no place like Dome. Says Tasty Waffles. You guys crack me up. Hold on. We're going to the moon. Now, time out. Let's take a look at what we already noticed, right? These are those ruffly clouds that I always talk about that are around the depressurization point and the apex dome. This is where we're actually headed. This is what they thought the moon looked like at the time or whatever. This is symbolically showing you that the governments of your world have been making plans to advance technology so that they can leave the earth and leave you all behind and leave you to the apocalypse while they go to some other world out there in the heavens and regain, the conditions that support extended lives or their immortality or whatever. Now, as we get closer and closer, we see that there's a face, right? And then pow, puts out one of the eyes. Why? Because one, the projection we see in the sky, the luminary that people call the moon, is a projection of the apex dome itself, right? A portion of the firmament that's being projected into our sky. That's the real moon. So when they talk about going to the moon, they're allowing you to think that it's the luminary that you're watching and looking at and you see and you're familiar with, not the invisible one, not the one that is Amun-Ra or the hidden light. Okay, it's not visible right now. That's where they're actually going, to a physical place, and they have to go through it. And I'll show you some other examples where they actually go through the moon in some of these. But on this one, they just put out the one eye. So you can have the one eye symbolism, which is the all-seeing eye in the sky, which is the apex dome, aka Nibiru, the Sipapu in the heavens, the planet of the crossing, etc. Hold on, let me see if I got some more in the chat. There's so much more under than above. Yes, there's a whole, they could go down too, but for some reason they want to go upwards, which I think is really interesting. I wonder if they have maps and stuff of what's out there or ideas about where to go once they're beyond, you know what I mean? Or if they're just going to hold on and ride the water slide, the cosmic water slide, and see where they end up. All right, let's go. Yeah, it's basically a giant maglev launcher. You're right. Now, hold on, let me go back just a second. I want to show you something too. They make the moon actually look like it's made out of cheese. And notice the color that they chose to make the moon, right? The moon used to be yellow. I remember that. I don't know how many of you guys remember that, but the moon, like we had this pink moon garbage early, like what, yesterday or something? Oh, it's going to be a pink moon or whatever. And then everyone's all disappointed because the moon wasn't pink. That's just because they're naming the moon every day of the year. Everyone's trying to claim their own name on the moon. Well, November 12th is, the garbage man moon, and November 13th is the lamp moon. And, like they got all these stupid names for the moon. Why? Because they're diluting the truth that there's two main different kinds of moons. And then there's the regular moon in between that goes through color spectrum shifts. There's the blue moon, which we are headed to right now. The blue moon signifies the apocalypse. It's once in a blue moon, which means it happens one time when the moon actually turns blue, the world across, and everyone sees it, not due to atmospheric phenomena or things in the sky or volcanoes going off or any of that weird stuff, but the moon actually being blue, and everyone sees it, everyone knows it, and it casts a blue light, okay? A real blue moon, it's just called a blue moon. That's dumb, okay? You could call it a magenta moon. You could call it a purple moon. That would be even more rare, in my opinion. But it's not. It's a blue moon because it really actually turns blue one time from epoch to epoch or age to age, okay? Or reversal to reversal, electromagnetically. The other one is a red moon. And the moon gets real big and real red. And it gives off a red light. And that also leads to the apocalypse. That's the other apocalyptic cycle that we go through. But this one, the moon looks like cheese. People said it looked like cheese because it looked yellow. Some people also pointed out, isn't there white cheese or whatever? Yes, of course there's white cheese. Okay, but typically people have associated, from my experience and my perspective on my limited little path that I walk, most people, when I was growing up, when they busted out a crayon to draw the moon, you got a yellow one. Okay, you didn't get a white one to draw the moon. Most people. All right, let's continue on. The depressurization clouds up here, okay? Like, obviously there's no clouds on the moon as it's presented to us today on the luminary. All right, so they crash down on the bullet. The bullet hits the surface of the moon. Look how jaggedy everything is, right? All this stuff on the moon. This is just kind of funny just to see there. This reminds me of, what was that movie? With Bruce Willis, and they drill into the What was the name of that movie? I don't want to close my eyes. That one. I always get brain farts when I'm on the spot. But it reminds me of that. That's what the landscape looks like of that comet that they landed on. No. Hold on. Mr. Mission Control says blue moon means it's 2 full moons a month. Yeah, that's what they have made it mean today. That's not the original meaning of blue moon. I hear you. I know that. I've heard that. I've learned that. But that's not it. That's dumb. What does 2 full moons in 1 month have to do with the moon being blue at all? You know what I mean? I'm not saying that this is you or anything. I understand that you're saying that's what they say, and that is what they say. But I argue against that. I think that's ridiculous and not true whatsoever. That's not where that comes from. It's not the origin of that at all. That's just gibberish. You know what I mean? Armageddon. That's right. Dr. Disciple. What's up, dude? I haven't seen you in the chat. Good to see you. All right, hold on. Let's continue on. Okay, comets, just so you know, I'll explain to you exactly what they are. They're also luminaries. All right, it's just they're luminaries out of focus. It's called chromatic aberration. It's something's wrong with the light that's passing through the lens, or which is the dome, and it hits an anomaly on the dome, whether it be a crater or another smaller dome, and it causes an aberration. It causes an out of focus star or an out of focus planet, or however you want to see it, right? It's just hitting an anomaly up there. And that's why you can track them like clockwork, because the light moves in and out and it fluctuates in and out up there. So we can predict when they're going to hit those anomalies if you pay attention and you watch them. Yes, I love that movie and the song by Aerosmith. Now, this is interesting. Okay, so some stars come out. It just so happens to be the shape of Ursa Minor, or if you will, Ursa Major, which is the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper. I'm going to say and guess that this represents the Little Dipper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I could have told you that before I counted them, right? The 7 stars, Septentrio, the Septentrion. Ursa Minor, this star right here at the very end, this is Polaris. That's the North Star, right? They're showing you symbolically where these people really are. They're on the dome, right above the center of the Earth, right above the North Pole. Let's continue on. I found my favorite new movie. You guys crack me up. Oh, there's little faces on the stars. Okay, little angel faces, I guess. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Oh, we got some more characters showing up, which this is all more symbolism. These are like hieroglyphics that move. I like to piece the movies together and check them out and see what they're really saying. All right, let's see what we got. Hieroglyphically speaking, we've got Saturn, right? The ringed planet, the Kronos, right? That also represents the apex dome. Kronos is the eater. Saturn is Kronos, and Kronos is the eater of worlds, the eater of his children, etc. He's a sky god that opens his mouth up wide and sucks everything in, because it's the apex dome portion of the firmament that's breaking open and depressurizing our atmosphere, sucking everything up into it. And then we have the horns. These are actually the horns of Kronos. This is not the moon. They're on the moon, right? Okay. So this is something else entirely. These are ancient symbols that were drawn on petroglyphs, hieroglyphically speaking, ancient Mesopotamian and Babylonian picture forms and stuff. These are the horns of Kronos. This is also called many different names of the moon goddess, specifically Nana or Inanna, right? Which is where the word banana comes from. That's why we call it a banana or a banana, right? Because it's the shape of the moon or the moon goddess. And then we've got a 6-pointed star right over here, right? And that's also Ishtar and many other things. All three of these are symbols for the exact same thing, which is the apex of this. All right. Hold on. Let me jump in the chat real quick. Let's see. They're all tweaking, Justin says. Yeah, there's that's cool that some other people know about it. And move on quickly. A frog? I don't know. I think they're supposed to be reptilian people, maybe. Slow it down a bit. Well, I'll try to catch it. Let's see. Yeah, mushrooms, chaos, sea monkeys. Interesting, in this very old movie, they instantly go to aliens, and we're told Even today, how people aren't ready for them yet. Yeah, I know that is pretty interesting, right? It is. There's some cool symbolism going on here. I think it is Lizzie people. I think so. Let's check it out though. But so they're taken to, we're gonna call them lizard people for now, because they kind of have lizard looking outfits going on, and they're green. All right. But in the background, you see this. That's not the symbol for the sun. That's the depressurization point up there in the heavens and the plasma coming out of it. Now we've got some women up here too that have stars around their heads. I wonder if there's 7 of them and they represent the Septon Trio. Let's find out what happened. Claw hands. Okay, I do see that. They got claw hands. This looks pretty reptilian to me back here. Okay, that looks pretty reptilian. We got the leader over here who's like, sit your butt down. This guy loses his mind. I don't know who this is. Oh my God, he picked him. He just tossed him. Wow, that escalated quickly. Hold on. Everyone's going nuts. They're getting chased by all the reptilians. That guy came right out. He's the only one that had balls. Hold on. Watch this. I want to see that again. Clown looking dude, he goes off to the side. He's like, okay, let me just go stand over here, not cause problems. I don't want to cause problems either. Me neither. Okay, me neither. Everyone's good. Everyone's good. Everyone's fun. Wow. That was it. That was epic, man. That was epic for like one of the first movies ever made. I love that. I love this movie. Woo! That was 13 minutes and 35 seconds. That was amazing. Yes, he's the Tsar, which also is related to the word Caesar, right? The king, the Tsar, the Kaiser, Kaiser Permanente, the permanent king. Yeah, I bet that was a fun movie, right? All right, let's check out another one. Now, that's not even the movie you guys came to see. This is the movie that we came to see. Voyage à travers l'impossible. The Impossible Voyage, made in 1904 by the same exact producer. Let's check this one out. You guys got anything? Hold on, let me hang out in the chat for a second here and see if anybody's got any comments or anything. Oh, I missed a salute? What salute? Oh, I don't know. I must have missed the salute. Let's see. It had something in the bottom. Okay. All right. That's about it in the chat. All right, let's continue. Let's watch The Impossible Voyage, 1904. What is that? 120 years ago. 21 years ago. 121 years ago. Voyage à travers l'impossible. All right, now, hold on. Let me break it down. Let's see what we got going on. We're in some ritzy gathering area. We've got George Washington looking dude over here. George Washington looking dude over here. Ben Franklin looking dude back here. And some woman with a spherical blue ball and a table behind them. Okay, let's continue. All right, these guys come out, the George Washington guys. They're all talking about the blue ball. They want to go around it. I assume this is supposed to be the Earth. All right, he said we need to go around it to go up or something. All right, let's check it out. All right, same type of thing as the other one. So we had the wise men, the academics, the government, and they're talking about how to leave the world behind once more. You also see all these guys in tuxes back here. These are all the rich people in the world, right? You notice they don't have like tribal people or poor people, like also talking about their knowledge of the cosmos and whatnot, right? Or getting into the Earth or anything like that, right? This is specifically for people, you know what I mean, that are related. All right, so now a homeless guy gets up there. Oh, he's not homeless. Hold on, he's got a stick. Oh, he's a teacher. Okay. Oh, he's got a plan. Hold on. He's like, all right, now, listen, everyone. At our first annual TED Talk, I have an announcement to make. I only need a few $100s. Back then, that was like millions, right? I need a few $100s. I'm going to make a mountain ramp, and there's a train, and I'm going to launch the train into the sky. Back to the Future Part 3. Launch the train into the sky with these flying blimps and these aeromobiles or whatever. All right? Now, I'm going to get into this. You guys are going to take off. You guys are going to take off, and some people will be watching you from the blimps. We'll have people witnessing this, and you're going to fly up into the sun. Okay? Sweet. And then when you go through the sun, you'll be able to parachute and splash back down after you visited another world. And everyone's like, oh, that's brilliant. Yes, I love it. Let's shoot them into the sun. Now, of course, we go back to the factory workers, right? You have to have all the slaves make your stuff for you. So we go back to the poor people. And this guy's like, what are you doing? Stop taking a moment to breathe. You, why aren't you bending over far enough? What do I have to tell you? Why can't you read? You can't read. Okay, damn it, that's fine. Listen, just make the spinny thing spin some more, and you keep pouring water on the pendulum, okay? Where's my flight attendant? Here she comes. Sir, I've got your cigarettes and tea here. Don't bother me. I'm doing advanced mathematics on my chalkboard. I really got to figure... This guy took a sip of the tea. I'm pretty sure that was an unauthorized sip. Oh, this guy's got some too. Or maybe it's oil. I don't know what's happening. But anyways, all the poor people are getting yelled at by their boss. He's also a slave, okay? None of these people are the upper class. Now, here comes the Marx Brothers. All right. Thank you, clown people. Thank you, rich people. Good to meet you. Very nice. Thank you for my job. I appreciate you. Thank you, sir. May I have another? Meanwhile, everyone else just hard at work in the background, right? This is times have not changed that much. All right. Hold on. Let me jump in the chat here. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, that's true, actually. Andrew says, everyone knows you can't tell others what to do or think unless you're well-dressed and well-off. That's true. I tested that out. So there's a really ritzy hotel around here called the Broadmoor. And I was out like looking for a job one day. So I was dressed up pretty nice. I walked right into like the employees area only, like in the kitchen and stuff. And I was walking around like tasting things, telling people good job. I asked some people to go get some towels for me, said I need those stat, and they were all doing what I told them to do. This was before I did YouTube. I've always been like that. All right. Let's see. All right, let's continue watching this. All right, now all the rich academic people, they're coming in, they're making sure that their spaceship is being built to perfection by your commoner. And these commoners are going to go home and they're going to tell their children that they work at NASA and that they know everything about space, and their children are going to go to school and they're say, my grandpa works at NASA. He spins a wheel. He knows all about the motion of the earth. Don't debate me. You don't want a piece of this. Right? Qualified, bona fide, certified. All right, so all the people that brought in their bullet, their space bullet, it looks like they have one in this movie too. The top hat guy, he's inspecting, making sure it's all been, up to specs. He says it looks great. What do we have here? Glacier and ice tank, right? That means ice in French, right? Glace. So glace is also interesting. So check this out. In French, the word for glass, the word for ice is the word glass. It's spelled differently, but it's glass. So you think about the highest, hardest glass ceiling is really, en français, si vous préférez, ice. All right, so they bring in this big box that says ice tank, basically. It's a huge box of ice, and they're all very happy about that. All the rich people are very happy. This guy takes a bow. He's in charge of the production company. All right, they're like, thank you for showing us that we have the giant cargo container of ice that's going to be necessary. So we got another ice connection, right? Because ultimately we're talking about the North Pole. Hold on, I got a question in the chat. Mystic Mardi says, question for JayDreamerZ. I sent you an email with more questions, but you didn't get it. How do I ask you a question? Wow. Well, you have to send it to the correct email address, which is jaydreamers.guest@gmail.com. But that's not for just anyone to just contact me and just ask me a question. I will not respond to those. That's my business email address. I do have like a membership on here where I guarantee that I'll answer people's, comments or whatever, respond to people's comments. And I do. Ask anybody who's ever signed up. I always respond to people's comments who sign up. But other than that, you have the floor right now. I recommend, asking a question right now, whatever it may be. All right, let's continue on. Doesn't Revelation talk about a glass sea? Yes, Ryan, you're onto something. You're totally right. I think a couple of times. Man, was one in Daniel or Ezekiel? I can't remember. But someone was looking up at the heavens. They were describing the place where the Lord or Yahweh sits and rests, and there was a glass sea, a sea of glass, which is very interesting. You're right. All right, let's continue on. I'm going to look up, hold on, let me see, Mystic Mardi. What kind of program do I use for my movies video? What kind, you want me to guess what kind you use? What kind of program do you use for my movies video? I don't know what you're asking me. Try to just clarify, be very specific, and get right to it. All right, I'm going to wait a second here. Sky ice. Yes, you're right, it is sky ice. The sky is made of ice, I think. Benjamin Anthony says, on the website, I'll send you pics soon. I'm going to... All right. Giant pre-flood petrified mushrooms. Very nice. Okay. Let's see. Scoop-a-doo. What kind of... Asking what kind, like podcast or podcast software? Oh, to do my live streams. Oh, okay. Yeah. I use Streamlabs. Just type in Streamlabs and that should pop right up. I think I might even have an affiliate link. I don't remember. They never pay me anything. So obviously nobody ever uses it, but yeah, it's called Streamlabs. That's what I use. That's what I'm using right now. I'm using Streamlabs mainly. Okay. I'm using other things too, but it's mainly Streamlabs, and, it's free too. And I mean, you could pay like I do for all the extra fun stuff, but yes. All right, good. I'm sorry. Sometimes it's hard, it's hard for me to like connect with people in the chat when it's off topic and I don't know what you guys are talking about. But I'm glad we were able to figure that out. All right, so now we get back to the builders. They're building some more stuff, probably something for their trip to wherever they're going. It's an impossible voyage, which is also Alice in Wonderland is an impossible voyage, right? She says she does 6 impossible things before breakfast. All right, so we're dumping out some lava. And there's a bunch of fire coming up. And so it's some kind of a mill where they're making something, maybe out of steel or something. Now they're going to pour some stuff. Okay, they got some more molten metal. They're pouring that into probably a mold, I'm assuming. Poof. All right. They've got their concoction ready. Everyone's ecstatic, especially this lady. Oh my God. She's losing her mind. Oh, this guy got a bucket. He's got to calm her down. She needs some milk. She is definitely... Oh, she's not happy about that she just got washed in the face by that guy. Bam! Take that, buddy. She's throwing the water or whatever it was all over these people. Well, they're like, you need to calm down. We work here, woman. Don't you know? Okay? You can't just come in here and act all crazy high on drugs. All right? Dancing all over the place, losing yourself. Speaking in tongues and stuff. We got a job to do. Okay, now we get to the airport or the train port or whatever this is called. This says bagages. Logage. I don't remember. I get languages mixed up sometimes because they look so similar to me in my mind. Enregistrement. That's clearly French. All right, let's continue on. All right, they're at a train station. This conductor comes out. He's like, you, move that thing over there. And you, move that other thing over there. Inconceivable. All right, so all the people are buying tickets to go on this impossible voyage. Here comes the rich people. That's the lady from the Titanic, I think, right? The one that didn't come from old money or whatever. Yeah, she was friends with Leo DiCaprio. That looks like her. All right, let's continue on. So they're buying their tickets from the one that says Switzerland, right there. All these academics, they've got their trench coats once more. They're looking pretty Jewish, I must say. That guy definitely is. He's got some locks on the side. Not that it matters, okay? There's no such thing as anyone, all right? There's no such thing as anyone, anywhere. Everyone's invisible, okay? All right, let's continue on. All right, so these people all load up. They depart. They get on their flying train. Doc Brown is at the helm, ready to go. He can travel back in time, so he could be in this movie. Okay. Okay. All right, what else? They're all buying their tickets to go on this fantastic flying train deal where they're going to ramp off of a mountain. You have to leave on a mountain, okay? Because that's where Jacob's Ladder is. It's on the rock, which is Mount Meru. All right, what else? Hold on. Justin asked a question. Does anyone subscribe to it possibly being superfluids up in the highest of altitudes in the firmament? Yes, I absolutely do. It's just that's a topic that's difficult, I think, for like most people to grasp. And it requires a little bit of teaching and knowledge to get to that point. So I just say clouds, frilly clouds, but that's really what it is. When I talk about those frilly clouds that are around the depressurization point, I'm talking about the superfluids, actually. So I'm very glad that you brought that up. Good job. As far as which gases, I don't know. I don't want to get into that right now, but I think you're totally right. All right, now they get on their train. Boop, boop. They say roads. Where we're going, we don't need roads. Okay, now they're on their train going through all of this rugged mountainous land with the beautiful little waterfall. It's definitely not a model at all. Their stop sign is ignored completely. They just go right through that. They got little balloons. Do you see that? That's how the train's going to fly. They have little zeppelins attached to it. All right, now, you know, X-ray vision style, we get to see into the train. All right, you see all the little compartments. Now, for the rich people, I'm surprised they don't have bigger accommodations, actually. Now, some guy comes in. He's like, all right, everyone congratulate each other. You're all a big deal. And they do. Now, this sign says way out. I can't really read the rest of it. All right, so here comes the trolley. All these locals are just crazy impressed. There's like 3 dudes and 5 chicks. This is Switzerland. I knew it. I knew it was Switzerland. All right, the army guys come out. They're meeting them. Oh, this is that ice tank. So this part of their train has the ice box car. I don't know what they need that for yet, but the ice has something to do with the North Pole. Yes, okay. Let's keep going. All right, what is this? Oh, okay, we got a little... Oh, this is that car you take from where you parked at Disneyland to Disneyland, if you've ever been there. And then they put their luggage on top and stuff, right? So, they have the little Disneyland car. All their luggage is already on top, which is amazing. That's great service back then. They had full service. There was none of this do-it-yourself garbage. Everyone thought that was the best thing ever. Oh, man, I get to do it myself? What kind of dumb nonsense is that? How did you guys get tricked into that? I used to be... Remember in Back to the Future where he pulls up to the gas station and like 7 guys in clean, nice uniforms all rush out and start fixing the car and changing the oil and washing the windshields? None of them are homeless with newspapers, just doing it for, $1 or whatever. So they can, do homeless stuff. No, that's full service. That's what I want. I don't want this self-service, do-it-yourself. Oh, it's so wonderful garbage. That's crazy. Okay. Oh, what's up, Esoterica? I like that name. I saw you up there. There she is. All right, everyone's in their trolley. Everyone's giddy to go. Wait, why are they wearing gas masks? Are they wearing gas masks? Did I miss something? Hold on. Did they put on gas masks? Hold on. Okay, they don't have gas masks on now. That guy put on a gas mask. For some reason, oh, well, because they're going to go up into space. Okay, I got you. You need a gas mask. There's gases up there, the superfluids we were just talking about. So why are they bouncing though? Are they on drugs? I think they're on drugs. They might need to be. You never know. Like when you travel to other lands, you get pumped up full of shots and stuff, dude. Oh, you get one in the butt too. God, I got one of those in the Marines. It sucked. All right, so the Swiss chicks are all saying goodbye. Their dude in the friend zone is over here hanging out, pretending like he's oh, somebody crashed into the side of a building. Meanwhile, this is what it looks like from the inside. These people are all having a nice dinner, and a trolley with a giant horn on it, and people in gas masks are like, thank you, sorry, enjoy your dinner. These people are like, what the fudge? And Swiss. All right. Oh, this looks just like the Price is Right game. That's one of my favorite ones, where the yodeler, he goes up the mountain. Remember that? And you can't make him go too high or he falls off. All right, this is kind of like the 1900s version of the yodeler. So they're in their trolley. They're going up. They're building up speed, okay? There's snow falling from the sky in huge dumping patches. Wham! Oh! They weren't going. Oh, they crashed! This is bad. Oh, man, this is devastating. Okay, they're up in the cold places. I imagine this is all ice and snow or something, but I just saw a bunch of snow. They all hit the ground. That's what I expected to happen in Back to the Future Part 3, right? But Doc's like, no, you're not thinking third dimensionally. In the future, the bridge will be there. But clearly, Doc wasn't on this trolley. He was on the flying train deal with the Zeppelins attached to it. There's a sign on this rock. I can't read it, though. Looks like it says Camp something. Okay, yeah, they're all trying to collect themselves. I'm pretty sure cannibalism comes next. Okay, I probably can't show the rest of this movie. Pretty sure it's against the guidelines. But let's find out. Hold on. Okay, now we go to the hospital because they're clearly going to need medical help after trusting in some idiot's idea to just go really fast off of a cliff to try to go into space. That was a terrible idea. And it wasn't even the whole train. It was just a little luggage trolley. What is that? Oh, because they were on drugs. That makes sense. Okay. So, children, okay, don't do drugs. Okay, you might end up on a trolley with a bunch of Jewish people that are going not fast enough to catch air. All right, and you'll fall into the Swiss Alps. All right, here now they're all better. They found the right train. They're not high anymore. They've got the train that has the Zeppelins on it. They're all going to stick to the mission. They're committed, I must say. Yes, they're all very committed. Oh, wait a minute. He's like, you're coming with me. Yeah, you're definitely... Meet me in A4. That's what he said to that one. All right, now he's helping everybody else out. He's like, yep, you get a bow. All right, everybody push. All right, so they get the large one up in there. Here we go. Now, this is how it was supposed to go. I don't know what happened earlier except for drugs. That's all I can say. They looked like they were pretty antsy, didn't they? Okay. Now, they're going to go up. They're going up. They're going way up to the top of Mount Meru. Oh, and they fly away. Doc must be the conductor. It must be Doc Brown at the helm. All right. So that's not the Big Dipper, I promise. Okay, that's the Little Dipper. The Little Dipper is a part of the North Pole, right? There's like a comet. We got all the little luminaries and stuff. Yeah, they're definitely going up to the North Pole. What was that? What was that bouncy deal? Did you see that? What are those things? Hold on, what is that? Oh, maybe it's little plasmoids flying around. Looks like it. All right, we got little plasmoids. You guys are cracking me up. All right. Ew, excuse me. All right, some fireworks. Now, here come those superfluids I was telling you about earlier, right? It's going to make a circle around the depressurization point, right? Now, regular clouds move out of the way, and we have the clouds of Yahweh. These are the clouds of the Lord. These are the sky god clouds. This is the superfluid clouds I was talking about earlier. And here's the sun. Remember, the guy at the beginning was like, hey, this is my genius idea. We need to fly into the sun. Well, hold on. Let me time out. This is the same thing as them hitting the moon earlier. It's the same clouds, same spot. They're showing you the exact same thing. It's just different symbolic images. That's not the focal point that you call the sun in the sky. This is what causes that focal point. Same thing as the moon, okay? Because of the way it's shaped up there. I don't want to get into too much detail right now, all right? But it causes both, as well as the stars. So this is the depressurization point. This is the apex dome. They need to go right into it. That's why they give it a face and stuff like that, because he's going to open his mouth. Watch. Also, these little rays coming off of it, that's plasma. The sunlight goes straight. You know, it can bend when it hits water and stuff like that, or go through a medium. or change mediums, I should say. But those little frilly sun rays, that's showing you something else entirely, especially when they put a face on it. All right. That's an ancient god. That's the sky god. All right. Let's continue on. Hold on. Let me check the chat real quick. Let's see. Scooby-Doo. Chickens raised in factory farms in space. Oh my God. Just want to note the symbolism. Regular people in 1900 did not think the sun had a face. Okay. Yeah. Well, they would draw a face on it all the time. Angry man. Okay. Posture raised chickens. You don't even eat the eggs of. Okay. You guys are into the chicken thing right now. He does look angry. Yes. All right. Let's check it out. Let's continue on. Now, the guy in the sun face. He looks around. He wakes up. He's excited. Opens wide, and the train goes right into his mouth. Right. So all the people out there that have told me like that you think that we all need to go through the sun, that the sun is a portal into other worlds, you're half right. Okay. This is how you're right. You're also extremely half wrong. And I don't recommend it unless you're an evil person, and in which case, by all means, go ahead and take others with you. Okay. But yeah, travel into the point of focus in the sky, you'll burn to a crisp. No matter how much protection you have, you're probably going to burn to a crisp. Travel into the source of that point of focus, and you will freely travel the fractal verse. All right. All right. Boom. He swallows him whole. Good job, son. Oh. Okay. Yep. Now they had a little fiery taste to them. So he's throwing up Tabasco sauce everywhere or something. I don't know what's happening. The sun is exploding or something. Oh, and it's turning red too, right? That's also the Nibiru star. That's also what the apex dome does. It also is a red color. Blue on the outside, just like these clouds, but red in the middle. Now we get to the razor jaggedy crematoria world, wherever they just went. I don't know, but it looks like crematoria, if you guys know what that's from. And we're clearly got some space action. We got the sun out here. We got this alien type atmosphere, landscape. When you see this sort of jagged landscape like that, okay, it's cartoonified and it's in the movies all over the place, right? But the desert of Saturn's desert in Betelgeuse is one example of this. Okay, that's created. These are fulgurites. It's created from electricity, huge amounts of electricity coming down, pulling the dirt and the debris and stuff up, and then petrifying it in place, or freezing it, or turning it into glass or whatever, and it stays like that. They're called fulgurites. And boom, nice one, nice landing. Just smashes right into the jagged razor planet. The whole sky turns red. Everything's turning red. Okay, good thing they've got gas masks. All right. Now, what's going on here? Let me just examine what we got. All right, I don't know what. We got something in the sky up here, and there's 3 heavenly bodies right there. I think that's of note. And you can't see the third one because of the curtains, but that's of interest to me. All right, so they crashed their train. All right, and the train symbolism also, like once you get past the apex dome of the heavens, or the firmament or whatever, there's plasma conduits. It's literally plasma vortexes or wormholes that connect world to world. Okay, so those are symbolized in movies and stuff as like subway trains, regular trains, any kind of train type symbolism. Like, you know, the Matrix movies coming to my mind right now too. All right, let's continue on. Oh, we get a replay. Bam! All right, they smash into the razor planet. This also, actually, you know what that kind of also has a look like? Ever so slightly. This kind of reminds me of I Pet Goat 2, that video, right? At the end, when Jesus is like floating off from the North Pole or whatever, and the sun is like firing hot stuff down at the earth. It kind of has that feel to it. All right, so the train, bam, smashes down into the razor world. Did I rewind that, or did they just replay that? They replayed it. Arctic Timberwolf, what's up, man? You've been watching my channel for a long time. Good to see you. Oh, hold up. Chris Odinson has a question. He says, Jay, do you think people will freeze to death when they get pulled up into the apex dome? Yes, I believe many people will. However, they're probably not even going to know it because they'll be passed out. But that's the good news. The good news is they'll be extremely high from the gases like nitrogen and stuff that they're breathing, but they'll probably be unconscious, a lot of them, because they're going to freak out. They're going to pass out. They're going to be so terrified that they're not even going to be aware that they're freezing to death as people sickles are getting sucked up into Kronos' mouth for dessert. And that's if they don't have any protection. That's why NASA has all this protective equipment and stuff, you know, not to go out into space or whatever, but they're preparing for, they're getting a feel for what they need when the apocalypse actually comes. So yes. All right. Let's see. Let's continue on. Papa. Okay. Now all the astronauts are checking one another. They're asking, are you okay? Are you okay? Is the hot chick okay? Someone, oh, this chick's okay. Right on. Good job. Give me a hug. All right. The scarecrow's over here. He's making sure they're all pointing at something. Okay. It looks like they know where they're going. Like, hey, let's go over there. Who cares about our way home? Who cares about the train? Who cares? It's like they're fine. It's like they have knowledge that losing the train doesn't matter. And this is the back right up here. That's the ice container or whatever that is. We'll see what happens there. All right, so let's see what they're looking at. They're checking out the wonders of space. There's all this lights and stuff, shooting stars. They're like, oh my God, look how jaggedy the ground is. This is insane. What happened to your gas mask? Oh, I'm glad we could breathe the air. That's nice. That's a great coincidence. It's because it's actually Earth, okay? These are all Earths. Even in the movies, when they go to different planets, it's just Earth. It's another Earth. They're all Earth. They're all infinite Earths, just different variations of Earth, okay? All right, now, this one's exploding. There's some sort of gas being released from over here. This guy's, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God, there's some behind us. Wait a minute. Is that coming from this world or from you, buddy? And he's like, oh, I don't know. Hold on. Let me take off my jacket. It's getting hot in here. And this bearded dude is really excited. He's like, we need to bust out the ice. Yes. Glacier, the ice tank. That's where the word glacier comes from, by the way. It's France. Glacier. All right. Boom. You open it up. They're going into the ice tank. They got some icicles right there. So you know it's ice. It's very cold. Oh, it's probably because it's hot. They're all really hot. That's what's happening. So this is a hot world. This is also, by the way, they were prepared for this. This means they've been studying whatever world they're at right now, right? Hold on. Let me jump back in the chat. Let's see. Time machines. Yes. Ooh, we should break down the movie Time Machine. We haven't done that one. Damn, I hope I can remember that. Because I would like to break that one down. Oh, if your heart is good, you'll be protected. There you go. Boom. What else? Lala's Tarot Life loves wolves. Very nice. Let's see. I wonder what people made of this movie back then. Probably the same thing that most people make of movies today. They're just mindlessly watching it and are amused and they laugh and that's it. And they think it's interesting. But they probably don't even think it's interesting. They're just eating some food, hanging out with loved ones, all gathering together, having no idea what they're watching. And they'll leave having no idea what it meant, but somewhere deep down, they'll know it meant something, right? And then they'll forget about it. And that feeling will start wearing off about 10 minutes after they leave the movie theater and they return to their loops of their lives. That's what I'm guessing. The Amazing Stoner Man says, anyhow, George Carlin in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. By the way, and Mark Hamill, who's now on that film Kong of Kongs, or King of Kings or something. Yeah, George Carlin is classic. What else? Scoop-doo, that's pretty much it. So are they leaving in a random time into the Apex Dome opening? Well, it has to be the apocalypse. Can't be a random time. All right, let's continue on. Now, they get into the ice tank. They lock that dude out so he can record it, like NASA does. They always got to leave one behind to record the rest of them. He's like, God dang it. Oh, snap. They're all frozen in ice. I'm so glad I got stuck out here. Oh, man, let me open up the big door. Oh, it's all my friend sickles. They're all frozen solid. Oh, let me just grab some hay, some otherworldly alien hay. Maybe I'll light a fire here on this hot world that represents the world we're about to enter into. And let's warm them up. Yes, I'll just set this random hay on fire and melt my friends who are cryogenically frozen. That might have something to do with this too, right? Freezing people cryogenically in order to survive the long periods of time that they need to go to these other worlds or whatever. It doesn't really take that long, right? To go from here to like the Karman line probably takes 30 seconds or something like that. So I imagine you can get to the dome once you get past the waters above and figure that out. And, you know, buoyancy flipping around in the other direction. All right, hold on. Let me see if there's anything else in the chat. Let's see. JayDreamerZ doing Flight of the Navigator. I just had my son watch that the other day. He loves that movie. That's a good one. Let's see. What do UFOs, UAPs have in connection? You can just call them UFOs. That's fine. That works. I'm old school. I like UFO. I don't care about all those other letters they're coming up with. What do UFOs have in connection with the plasma apocalypse? Are they another species? No, they're not at all. They're just lights in the sky. Most of those lights you see that people are claiming are spacecraft are not at all. They're not crafted at all. They're just plasma. It's just gas that's being excited and ionized in the air because the pressure is building and building and building, and more gas is being released. And because there's so much pressure, it's easier for them to ionize, and they turn into little plasmoids and stuff, and they move like light would move. You know what I mean? For the most part. I'm not saying there's not weird craft out there, but if there is, it's made by people who already live inside of the dome. Let's see. Anything else? I think that's pretty much it. I think you guys are having some great conversations. So I'm going to continue with the movie. All right. So he defrosted his buddies, brought them out of their cryogenic slumber. Is that what that was for? Is that why they brought this cargo box? It seems like it. Which means that they would be all be younger than the guy who stayed outside, technically, if this is how this is supposed to work. All right, so they all take off. They rush away to the Rainbow Sun area of the planet, where they find a leftover giant bullet rocket. And they're like, sweet, we knew this would be here. This is the other Earth's version of NASA. They know that there's other versions of us out there probably doing similar and likewise, but they just go find them and, you know, maybe even go find their own little other Earth versions of themselves, and who knows? I could go in all kinds of directions with that. Oh, it's like a submarine rocket type deal. All right, cool. So maybe they're going to leave the Razor planet and splash down now that they have set fire to the alien hay, frozen themselves. Oh, there he goes. There he goes. It just drops. Oh, here comes splashdown. Oh, they put a parachute on this one. How ingenious. All right, sweet. So they splash down into the fish tank. Very nice. Oh, they've got a light down there. All right, they're searching about in the waters. Side view, you can see inside of the submarine. Now, this guy's like, we need to do this right here. Look at this, people. Look, I've drawn it all out for you. All right, me and you and these guys, look real close. You see that mountain? That's actually where we should have gone, okay? I screwed it up. I made a left turn at Albuquerque when I shouldn't have. All right, let's open this up and enjoy the view. Disneyland had a ride that was this. They actually had a ride that looked just like this. It was called the Submarine Ride. Now it's called Finding Nemo or something. I haven't seen the Nemo one because when it first came out, it was a 3.5 hour wait, a 4 hour wait, I think, to ride some children's ride. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. But I did see this one. It had mermaids. It had all the underwater stuff on a little scrolling wall. Oh, sweet. They got a giant octopus or something down there with big bug eyes. They got a worker bee over here making sure that the metal balls are hitting the horn. Good job. Okay. Make sure those don't stop. Who knows what might happen? Oh, snap. He screwed that up. Now the whole balls hitting the metal horn department is on fire. Smoke's coming out of it. They're like, somebody give me some water. All right, we happen to have a bucket of water in the front, in the non-essential side. Okay, I don't know where they're getting the water from, but there's just busting out all kinds of water now. Inside, oh, the whole thing blew up like a reptilian from the moon. All right, poof. It just all went poof. Now, these are the cliffs of insanity. Anytime you see this kind of stuff. Hey, the Bikini Truther. Hey, thank you so much. Check that out. She gave me a little sticker. That was nice. All right, let's keep on going. Now, there's a lighthouse. There's the cliffs of insanity. We've got some mimes. There must be an earthquake or something. Oh, so if something's falling. Oh, maybe their thing blew up, and it blew up so powerfully from inside the ocean that it went up above the ocean into the air and then landed down in front of the cliffs of insanity. All right. Oh, thank God they've all got their telescopes, their golden telescopes survived, as they all happen to be in the portion of the submarine that also survived. Now, someone's crawling out. Let's see who that is. Oh, it's that chick. Okay, yeah, this dude's super ecstatic that the hot chick survives. All right, good. All right, you come with me. Let's all congratulate each other. Let's kiss her. Definitely let me wave around my giant telescope, which is definitely not symbolic for anything or a euphemism for anything, I promise. And we'll all walk around with our huge telescopes and carry off the bearded captain with the propeller. All right, as we do a little dance and a jig on the way out. Now, back in Atlantis, or wherever this is supposed to be, Institute. I can't read the rest of these words up here. Anyway, so there's, a parade. You got to have a parade. When they come back, they make a big deal about about the narrative that they've all been told, right? All right, now, we got the French military coming in. Nice little bow there. Nice little curtsy. Good job. Everyone is taking their hats off because, that's respectful for some reason. I don't know where that came from. I went into court, dude. They still do that crap. The judge gets pissed if you don't take off your hat in court. Like you're in church or some crap, right? What is that? Who cares? I don't care. That's dumb. Anyways, Consortium de Grande Marque Cinematographique. All right, sweet. That was the end of the movie. All right, cool. So that's the one that's the main show. Now, I've got a couple backups for you guys. You guys want some more? All right, let me jump in the chat. Under 24 minutes and 20 seconds. Oh, you're behind. The Amazing Stoner Man. Hey, when you catch up to this point in the presentation, I just want to say that you're awesome. The Amazing Stoner Man is the coolest person on earth. I don't know. I just thought I'd just give you a nice surprise for when you catch up to the rest of us. All right. Why take the propeller? I don't understand that. The lighthouse at the end. Somebody said something about the lighthouse. Oh. Of the world. The Lighthouse at the End of the World by Jules Verne. Yes, very good. Decode, Deadpool, and Wolverine. That movie's base, man. I've seen it. I know there's a lot to decode, but I don't like base movies. I just mean low frequency, low vibes. Just a lot of dumb, base, thick jokes, man. I don't like any of that kind of stuff. I watched it, but I'm not decoding that. Forget that. All right. Let's see what else. Can you imagine the actual people that participate in this film? Hat phobic, says Sam. Goliath. Okay, let's see. Oh, you guys want more? Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to the next one. Deadpool. It's inside Mount Meru. It's like the mother brain. I believe you. I totally believe you. I don't like Deadpool. I like the idea. I think it could be an awesome cartoon character or a comic book character, but all that butt jokes and poop jokes and all that nasty stuff, man, that's not me. I can't do it. Okay. If you guys like that, that's fine. No judgment. But I don't even like watching it. I watched it just to see what I could find personally, but I'm not going to share that with the rest of the world. There's too much nasty stuff to scrape out of there. Anyways, all right, let's continue on. Let's see what we got next. A Trip to Mars. Now, this is the Edison version. when Edison ripped the French guy off and stole his entire idea and his whole movie and remade it. A Trip to Mars. Thomas A. Edison. Why is Edison even making movies? You know what I mean? Like, why would that even be a thing that he's doing? You know what I mean? I don't know. There's something wrong with Edison. I'm not a fan of that guy. I'm on Team Tesla. Okay? So, the discovery of reverse gravity. I hate this film already. See? Edison? All right. Let's see what he says. All right, so they discover reverse gravity. It's called freaking buoyancy, buddy. Edison, genius, inventor. The discovery of the opposite of gravity, the opposite of what's holding us down, the thing that makes us float, whatever that is, the reverse of that. We discovered it. All right, that's how the movie starts. Let's see what happens. All right, so they discover reverse gravity. We go, meanwhile, to a laboratory where back in the day it was okay to have dead people in your laboratory and corpses to work on them and skeletons just hanging from the wall. This is so blurry. Edison, what are you doing? Nobody can even watch your crap, man. This is like watching a movie underwater at the local swimming pool, opening your eyes without goggles. That's what this looks like. All right, so this guy's ecstatic because he figured out how to make the bowl float. There was a movie in the 80s called The Boy Who Could Fly, also very similar. Let's see. Oh, I skipped a lot in the chat, sorry. Let's see. Scuba Deep Deep. What's up, Uncommon? Good to see you. All right, so we got the wizard. Another one. Mr. Wizard's World. He's in there. He's mixing some things together. He's going to splash some on the chair and booyah, the chair flies away. Right? That's the same chair that used by Mary Poppins and her buddy, and they all float around in that room until he tells a sad story. And then he messes it up and he's funny again and they all float back up to the top. All right, so he puts on his top hat, obviously. Needs the top hat. Says something to his dead skeleton buddy because this guy has no life. And he pours it on himself. He's going to start floating, I imagine. Oh, he floats right out of the window. Okay. So this is very much like Peter Pan. So Edison ripped off Peter Pan too. All right. Let's just be clear about that. Except for it's a rich guy. So this is what rich people... If you're rich, okay, don't take anything personally, okay? I'm not. So I'm not making fun of all rich people. I'm talking about the elite. I don't mean rich as in wealthy. I mean rich as in the super rich, like the elite of the world. That's what I'm referring to when I say rich most of the time. Not always, though. Anyways, so this guy in his tuxedo is kicking around. This is me when I'm trying to fly in a dream, actually. I'm trying to swim through the air. On the planet Mars. I feel like we need really cheesy sound effects. All right. Reverse gravity is working as he sticks to the underside of something. I don't know what that was. We've got giant people. All right. It's hard to make out. This is terrible. These are people. These are giants. Okay. You can see some hands crossed right here. Hands crossed. They look like they're people or something. This is a little tiny guy. He's on Mars now. And their giants are reaching towards him with huge long fingers. Maybe they're trees. Maybe they're int people. Because they seem stuck in one spot. And they look like they have trunks. So I think these are moving, alive, giant trees. Okay, that's very much also from The Wizard of Oz, right? And I believe that the time's going to come whenever plants will actually pose a danger. They'll grow so quickly, so fast, that... many plants will be dangerous. Not only that, but there's carnivorous plants and stuff too, right? What'd you say? It's Slugworth. He stole the fizzy lifting drink from Wonka's factory. Oh, damn. This is Slugworth's great-grandpa. You're right. He wanted that fizzy lifting drink that almost cost young Charlie the whole freaking competition. All because of the Grandpa Joe. Who also, by the way, says he wants to go over the moon in ecstasy. He wants to get high and go to the moon just like the people in the last movie. Over the moon in ecstasy, I can dream because I've got a golden ticket, which is my little nephew. I got a free pass to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. I've got a little nephew and I was faking my infirmity. I don't know how the song goes. All right, now he meets the hobgoblin on Mars. I'm not even paying attention to the movie at this point. Sorry. Now the hobgoblin, oh, is a giant. Oh, he's standing in his hand. Oh, and he's blowing smoke at him. He's trying to get him high. He's screwing with this tiny little human guy. Okay, this is probably how animals see us. Some of you, I know. All right, now he made him into a snowball. Let's see what this hobgoblin does now that he's squished the human Grandpa Joe into a snowball. Puts him onto a... What is he holding? Is it a plate or is it something else? I don't know, but he's blowing on it and it's getting bigger. And boom, he blew him away. Homeward Bound. That was a good movie. Not like this one. It's way different. All right, so Grandpa Joe is now floating back down. Maybe this is Grandpa Joe's dream from eating some of that candy at the chocolate factory. I imagine they had some trippy dreams. All the people that were stealing crap. You know what I mean? Grandpa Joe definitely stole stuff. You already know. All right, let's keep on going. This is fun. We got to do this more often. All right, so Grandpa Joe. Na 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 na. I feel like the Wicked Witch should like fly past for a second. All right, he's not happy now. He's having a bad trip because he's falling. That was a joke. And he did fall. He fell right back into his laboratory. Wow, Edison. Wow. All right, now he's telling off the hobgoblin god in the sky. He's like, F you, buddy. You just wait. I'm going to make some gunpowder next. I'm going to invent that crap. Oh, the house is turning upside down. Okay, all right, that was unexpected. All right, so the house is turning upside down and it's flipping around. It's just spinning. His house is getting sucked up into the sky. Oh, I don't know what happened. That was it. Brought to you by Thomas A. Edison. Great. Sweet. Very nice. Okay. Well, good job, Edison. Next up. Oh, this is the total bootleg of A Trip to the Moon. It's called Excursion dans la Lune. Okay? The excursion to the moon instead of a trip to the moon. All right, let's see what this one is. 2 chickens. Right? Some of you guys know what that means. All right, now we start things off. I'm going to fast forward this one since it's basically a copy. Okay? Sorry. Just a little bit. All right, we start things off, and we got the wizard dudes again. All right, this guy's not happy about something. He's like, please let me go. Please let me go. I just want to go to the moon with you guys. This is garbage. How come you guys never accepted me into your academy? And he's like, listen, we told you need to do this dance naked in the town square, and you didn't do it. Look, I'm doing it right now. Come on, let me go with you guys. Something to that effect. Now, we get back to the chalkboard. This movie also has a chalkboard. And a gigantic telescope, okay? So they've written some equations. They've figured out all the science and all the maths that's behind it. They bust out their foldable chairs that they had tucked into their pants. They all sit down to listen to the head wizard, this is academics, okay? This is not wizards, not real magical wizards. This is academics. This is the birthplace of, they're showing you actual academics, okay? From a long time ago. Now, you can disagree with that, that's fine. But I'm telling you the truth through my perspective, okay? This is how I see it. And in my eyes, these are academics. Oh, look at that. There's a spinning Earth. All right, we're going to leave the spinning Earth and just shoot a bullet right at the moon. Bam, and that'll work. That'll do the job. All right, cool, great. All right, put on your top hats. We got the same exact... This guy ripped off this movie so bad. Right? Same workers. There's same anvil. You just put the anvil on the other side. They got a crane. Oh, they're going to add some comedy. Okay. So now, oh, he accidentally got lifted up. Oh my God, by his underwear. Ha 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 ha. It's so funny when people get wedgies for some reason. All right. Dude, we should totally Melvin death. All right. Now they got the giant gun pointed at the heavens above. They're like, come on, climb the stairs, guys. Let's go. You guys want to wait out the apocalypse with the rest of the commoners, or are you coming with us? Now, the military is there once again, and they're going to load the giant bullet ship into the giant gun. And these guys are just all dressed a little bit differently now. They put on their wigs and stuff. That was a deal back then. All right, great. They're all getting loaded up. I'm skipping this. All right, so boom. They load them up. They light it on fire. They have no fear at all of the kickback or the backfire or anything at all. It's just going to work. It's just going to shoot. Now, this is what the moon looks like in this version. This is the cheap version, okay? So instead of having the full nickel to get into the silent movie, this is for people that just had a penny. This was like the dollar movie theater. You know, the one that you sneak the candy into, and they don't have stadium seating or any of that stuff. This is what was playing there. All right, now the moon, because it's not really the moon, it's Kronos. Plasma comes out, boom. All right, they land on the moon. They're super tired. Now listen, it's always going to be the same story. They're going to be tired. After depressurization, this is a lot on the body, okay? It's going to start snowing again, just like in the other one and just like in The Wizard of Oz. We're on the moon. There's snow on the moon because we're actually at the North Pole. They're going to go down into a random crater where there's giant mushrooms growing. And they put the giant one that grows on the left this time, and the Riddler comes out and spooks them. I wonder if he's going to turn into dust. All right. All the little Riddler nation. Oh, he just turns into, he just gave it up willingly. No one even hit him with an umbrella or anything. He just vaporized. He disintegrated. All right. Now they're under the little crescent moons on their heads. They want to do a little dance number for the camera. So they do a little dance number. Hold on. What's everybody saying in the chat? Let's see. There's a lot of cussing and something. Okay. Let's see. Like Wonderland. Yep. Just like Wonderland, right? The Age of Enlightenment. Boom. Ryan Reynolds is so much legal trouble with his wife. I don't care. Who cares? Ryan Reynolds. Who's he? He's just some guy. What else? Amazing how they couldn't come up with unique ideas for a movie. I know, right? They just totally jacked the other. Like, this is pretty much, except for reptilians, they just had the Riddler people. Look. Oh, I wonder if he's going to jump on the back. One of them should jump on the back, I feel like. All right, so same exact movie, right? They crash down, they fall off a cliff, they're going to splash down, all of them have their telescopes out and stuff. Their pajamas, that's what they look like. All right, oh, we made it. Oh my God. We got seatbelts galore. They're amazing safety equipment inside of that bullet. All right, let's see. I don't know what you guys are talking about. All right. And then everyone's wearing their little dunce caps, right? Which is what the intelligent people wore. Remember, it was turned into a stupid thing, but originally it wasn't. It meant intelligence. And it's brought to you by the chicken. Boom. The rooster. That's it. That was it. That's pretty much it. What do you guys think? Was that a little different, right? I told you it was going to be a little bit different. Well, I'm glad that you guys had so much fun in the chat today. I'm glad that I can make a couple people laugh as we look back at some of the earliest sci-fi movies, if not the earliest ones, and horror, actually. We started off with the giant bug horror scene. That was fun. I might do it again sometime. If you got some recommendations, let me know. Until next time, I'm JayDreamerZ saying good vibes and goodbye.
Come